Hello, class. Kyle Times, and I will be using an intervention, trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy for a 15-year-old child for sexual assault. Trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy is an evidence-based treatment approach shown to help children, adolescents, and their caregivers overcome trauma-related difficulties. TFCBT is said to help reduce negative emotional and behavioral responses following child sexual abuse. The treatment is based on learning and cognitive theories that addresses distorted beliefs and attributes related to the abuse and provides a supportive environment in which children are encouraged to talk about their environment, in which children are encouraged and talk about their traumatic experiences as well. Trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy also helps the parents who were non-abusive to cope effectively with their own emotional distress and develop skills that support their children. After a child experiences trauma, some symptoms that may occur is post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD for short. Also, such emotional symptoms and behavioral symptoms such as depression, anxiety, and disruptive behavior. This is the case with my client, 15-year-old Gloria Smith. Gloria was sexually assaulted by a maternal uncle 3 months ago and has been working with me for a month. Gloria is a Caucasian female who resides in a nice neighborhood and resides with her single mother and younger sibling, 7-year-old Stephanie. Gloria, according to her mother, was displaying changes in her behavior at home and in school. Gloria was suspended for fighting 2 boys on 2 different occasions. Gloria began to get poor grades from previously being on honor roll, started cutting class, smoking marijuana, and just having conflict with her mother and her little sibling on occasions. In this interview, I will explain to Gloria why she's behaving that way, and see if she recognizes her behavior, and see what help I can give Gloria. So, Gloria, in our last session, you said that you recognize that you've been acting a little differently. Something that you pointed out. So from the last session, I had charted down some things as you had pointed out, as your mom had pointed out, in regards to your behavior and just what's going on with you personally. So let's just start with the fighting. When you were fighting the 2 guys, I mean, I know they were at 2 different occasions, but when you were fighting the 2 guys in school, can you tell me what led up to the fight? Okay, so it was just merely, and I don't want to downplay it, but so one of your peers had touched your butt and you became very angry and you started fighting him. So with issues like that, and now, you could have just been, mad, even if, if you haven't experienced a traumatic event by just one of your peers touching you inappropriately. But I believe with this instance that that anger came from one, for the person who touched you was a male, and it was something that just triggered you to think about the previous episode that happened between you and your uncle. Would you say that that's accurate? Like, did it take you back there when your peer had touched your butt? So, it did. It just made you just think about how you were being touched inappropriately by your uncle, and that just set you off. So, what made you, fight him? I mean, just instead of just reporting him to the principal or to a teacher. Okay, so you just felt that you needed to defend yourself and to just like fight back. You feel like that was a chance that you didn't get, when you were touched inappropriately by your uncle. So you when you were fighting, did you see him as your uncle? You did. So you just wanted to like take that anger and that frustration out on your uncle. I mean, that's definitely understandable, and I can see why you reacted the way you did, and you had, every right to react. To try to protect yourself, and to protect your space. But when issues, like that may occur, hopefully nothing else will happen like that again. There's other ways, to deal with your anger instead of getting into physical altercations, as far as like reporting up here to a teacher or to the principal, because, it could have been, worse. You could have really truly hurt that person, and they probably did deserve it, but you just had to be mindful um, of how you react during this difficult time, in your life. And I'm here, and your mother is here to help you, and along with other supports that you have in place. So another thing or issue that you and your mom pointed out was about just you sitting in your room. Before your mom said that you was like more active in sitting downstairs with the family watching TV, and just being more engaging with the family. But now she's saying that you're sitting in your room and for hours and not really coming down to eat dinner with them, and you're just pretty much eating in your room. Can you tell me a little bit about that? So you're feeling sad at times and just reminiscing about the incident, and you just want to be away from people. So that's understandable. You're in a process as an adolescent that you're still learning about life and about development, and during this time, your body went through a major shock. So to sit and to think about the experience is it's nothing uncommon. But besides taking time to sit by yourself, your mom and your sister still are there for you. They want to know what's going on with you personally and want to be a support to you. So if, as time goes on and you feel more of a comfort level to just get out of that routine, to, just being by yourself, to try to incorporate your family and, to let them know that you're okay, that you're not just, avoiding them because you're mad at them. They have to understand too what you're going through. It's not that you have to do everything alone. I mean, that's why I'm here. That's why your mom's here, and your sister. We're all there to be a support to you. So another thing that was pointed out was that you had a couple of nightmares, and that's understandable with what you have been through. The incident, it took place at night, correct? And your uncle, he was staying with you. Okay. So the pattern of you not being able to sleep is just your thought process of someone coming into your room, and and having that action repeated. So it gives you a post-traumatic stress. So you thinking about the incident over and over again, even though he's in jail and that he's away and that he can't harm you, but you're still reflecting on that incident. Whether you're trying to get rest or not, it's something that's replaying over and over in your head. And you might want to not even sleep in that room right now. Maybe you want to change rooms, or just spend time with your mom. You're not not too big to be in the room with your mom, and just have that support. I know that she said that she wouldn't mind, for you to sleep in a room with you, or changing rooms, because, just being in that room could be, just continue to trigger the event, and may want that to keep happening. So, just a change in that room, or changing the color, or the arrangement of the room, or changing the room altogether, may definitely be helpful, and in dealing with this process. But that's where the nightmares and the broken sleep is coming from. It's just the reoccurrence of the thought process of you being assaulted by your uncle. It's very unfortunate that happened, but that's where the issues with your sleep is deriving from. Also, your mom had mentioned, and thank you for being honest, that you mentioned that you were smoking marijuana, and it's just marijuana. It's just nothing else. It's not laced with anything. Okay, so it's just marijuana. With that, that's usually called like a self-destructive behavior, and what happens is, to cope with the trauma and the pain, some people use different methods to try to cope with their pain, and it's not really for us to say how a person to cope, but you do want to try to cope in a more positive way, as far as talking with family or friends, or with me as your therapist. But try to stay away, clear of like the drug usage, such as marijuana, or anything else that you're trying to do to cope with the pain, because it's only going to give you a short term sense of comfort, and trying to mask the pain or the trauma that you had went through. So the smoking and marijuana might help you maybe feel relaxed, or help you to think you're getting over the issue at the time, but it's very short lived, and all that will happen is that the pain is going to come back, and you're just actually causing trauma back to yourself, because you're not fully dealing with the issue, so you're just masking the issue at the time. But other methods that you can do, and techniques that I'll teach you for dealing with the trauma, is things that you may be interested in, maybe activities, as far as maybe hanging out with your friends, just getting out the house more, maybe exercising. Also some techniques such as yoga, meditation, also boxing, to take out any additional anger, frustration that you may have to hit a punching bag. These are other techniques that you can use to help you deal with your stress and what you have been through. So these are good techniques that can help you, begin to cope and to, you know, to gain your self-esteem and your self-confidence back. Because you told me you didn't really feel like yourself as far as your grades and everything like that. So everything that I'm telling you and that I want to put into you is that, we want to just help you, or I want to help you get back onto the right track. And the last thing that I had was that you had some trust issues. Can you tell me about that? Okay. So you just not trusting any like order mails or anything like that. And again, that's understandable. I mean, with everything that you've been through, I'm sure you trusted your uncle at one point in time, and a close family member, but unfortunately, you violated that trust. So, but you don't want to, have a life when you're not trusting, no males, because everybody's not like your uncle. So, again, some things that you can do is, this is like one of the first steps, me and you having this relationship where we can build trust and rapport with one another. This is one of the first steps that you can use to begin to build trust in other people. And I'll make sure that I'll model a positive behavior pattern that you should see in other males, and not what you experience with your uncle. So the trust issues, whether it's with men or with other people, I think that's something that you have to gradually work on. Begin to open up, and I think you trusted me by just opening up and telling me, some of your fears and your worries that you have, and that you do want to deal with, and I'm here to help you with that. So again, it's a process, and it's not a fast-paced healing process. This is gradual time. The trauma happened quickly, but to heal, it's going to take time. So, but I'm here with you, and I'm here working with you. So, anyway, I can continue to be support. Anything that I can answer for you, I will. So that'll be the end of this session, and I want you to bring your questions or any thoughts that you may have to our next session, and I'll make sure that I'll answer your questions the best way I can and go through everything with you. If it's something that you understand, just let me know, and I'll just explain it the best way I can to help you continue to deal with this process. Thank you, Gloria, and I'll see you next week.